Snow with the Creative Startup. Today we're going to be looking more at the art of war, seeing what it has to say about teamwork. Alright, so the art of war, we looked at it a couple weeks ago. We were looking at what it has to say about motivation, about being determined, about having a good vision. But today we're going to be looking at what the art of war has to say about working as a team. So, personally, this hits really close to home. I have been working as a worship leader since I was 14, I think. I'm 21 now, so that's a little while. And so I would lead worship on Wednesday nights, and now I lead worship on Sunday nights at my church. And I've found that some nights, you get to church a little bit late, things aren't quite in order, so you got to get everything ready for practice, like frantically go and get the music, make sure this is set up, make sure the sound's working, make sure everything's good. People are showing up for practice, and so you're all stressed. And then practice time rolls around, so everyone just grabs their instruments. It's like, okay, guys, let's just quick sound check and let's go. Let's just practice. Let's get this thing done so we have enough time. And I find on those nights, I'll get about halfway through practice and just kind of listening into the band, seeing what's going on, and everything is like disjointed, right? Any musician will understand kind of what I'm talking about. Sometimes you're with the band and everything is just jiving, everything's together, everything's cool. And sometimes you're with the band and everything is just all over the place. Nothing really fits. Everyone's kind of in their own universe. This guy's playing over here, this guy's playing over here, and they're just trying to fit together. It's not working. Contrast that with a night that I get there on time or a little bit early, get everything prepared, perfectly set up, just ready to go. And, the music's on people's stands when they get there. And it's time to start practice. And I say, okay, everybody, everything's ready to go. We got time. Let's huddle up first. And then, as a worship band, we pray. But we'd huddle up and I'd be like, okay, guys, this is tonight. We got to be grateful that we're here. We've been given this ability to play music, and we should be grateful for that. And we should bring a lot of energy to the kids who are coming. And you have this little group huddle up where you say, okay, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it, and this is how we're gonna do it. So now everybody is like one organism, or that's where the word organization comes from. Is the word organism, being multiple parts into one. And when that happens, when everyone's working together as one clump, as one organism, if things are going hard, if the drummer's not quite keeping time or the bass player is kind of off in their own world, we all work together to fit back in as a team. You can hear it musically, which is really weird, but even just as the attitude, right? When someone's not getting something, no one's annoyed with them, no one's short with them. It's just a matter of, oh, okay, well, let me explain. Let's understand this. Let's work on this together. I tell you this story because it's super important to understand what it means to connect with people and the power that comes in that. I'm going to read a little passage from The Art of War. So here Sun Tzu says, "Thus, the energy developed by good fighting men is as the momentum of a round stone rolled down a mountain thousands of feet in height." I'm going to read that again. "Thus, the energy developed by good fighting men is as the momentum of a round stone rolled down a mountain thousands of feet in height." So he's saying, just like when you throw a big rock down a mountain and it's just moving, getting up speed, picking up speed, using the energy of the universe, using the gravity to pull it down. It's not using its own energy, it's harnessing something so much bigger. That's what it's like when you have a group of good fighting men. Or in your case, maybe it's great artists or designers, or in my case, it's great musicians. When you have a group of great musicians together, not in the same place but playing their own thing, together, unified, there's an energy that's created. It's kind of an unspeakable kind of thing where there's a switch that'll happen when you're playing music. Sometimes you're playing music and you're pushing music out. You're making music happen. You're giving music to the people. And other times in music, you're just buckling in. You're just being a part of it. You're playing guitar, you're playing drums, whatever you're doing, but you're just part of what's happening. You're just rolling with the rhythm. You're rolling with the harmony, rolling with the melody, and it has an energy of its own, and you're just being a part of it. And that's the difference between a good team, a good group of people, and a bad group. It's that harmony, that energy. So we're going to look at 3 more things that Sun Tzu says are really important for teamwork. First thing, regard your soldiers as children, and they will follow you into the deepest valleys. Look upon them as your own beloved sons, and they will stand by you even unto death. I love this idea that if you get your men together, if you get your team together, and they have a trust for you, they know you, they know what you're about, they know what you're sure of, and they know what your questions are, and you treat them well, like a father treats a son, they'll follow you anywhere. And see, this is an important distinction to make. I think some people want to be the leader that just lets everybody do what they want to do and has no authority because they don't know how to get control of people. And other people want to be the leader where they just iron fist. I have authority. I know how it's going to be. Listen to me. I'll show you. I'll tell you. Don't question. No questions, please. And what Sun Tzu is saying is if you don't want to be either one of those leaders, instead you want to get a great team together and you want things to flow well, you have to treat the people around you with trust and respect and care. And the way you do that, first and foremost, is by being surrounded by people that you can trust, respect, and care. And there's some people in this world that you'll just never trust. You'll never respect because they don't earn it. They don't deserve your trust. They don't deserve your respect. Don't surround yourself with those people. Don't make those people part of your team. Carefully select your team. And then once you have selected your team, again, treat these people with respect. Don't be Mr. Iron Fist leader telling you, this is how it's going to be. Listen to me. I know the best. Because then when time does come for you to make a hard decision, when time does come for you to put your fist down and things to actually come into place, they'll listen to you. Because you didn't wear out all of your authority being Mr. I know how it's going to be. You save it for when it's important. And you build that respect. Second rule, be above reproach. Now, this is a term actually in the Bible. It says leaders have to be above reproach. And what it means is don't be stupid and don't let anybody get something on you. Don't let yourself fall through the cracks so that people can catch you doing something stupid. Just don't do that stupid thing. And here's how Sun Tzu says not to do those stupid things. He says there are 5 dangerous faults which may affect a general. 1, recklessness, which leads to destruction. 2, cowardice, which leads to capture. 3, a hasty temper, which can be provoked by insults. 4, a delicacy to honor, which is sensitive to shame. And 5, over solitude for his men, which exposes him to worry and trouble. I'm not sure if that's how you say that, but whatever. So let's look at these piece by piece. Number 1, recklessness. I think recklessness has to be dealt with by dealing with the cause of recklessness, which I think is pride. Because I know personally when I'm super proud, when I'm super sure of myself, I tend to plow people over because I'm so sure that I'm right. I'm so sure I've got it figured out that I don't want to hear your suggestions. I don't want to think about it twice. I'm just going to make my decision, and I'm sure I'm right. It's so foolish, and it's just going to lead you to make these stupid decisions and not be humble about it, and then you lose people's respect. It makes you a terrible leader. Second, cowardice, which leads to capture. I've heard this anecdote that most people stop at 90% of the way. Just another 10% and they would have got there. I don't know if that's really true. It's just an anecdote. But it is telling. It does illustrate a great point that don't be a coward, especially not when you're leading people. If something seems challenging or if something seems just unknown, I think challenge isn't always a thing that stops us. People think we don't do stuff because it's hard. But I think oftentimes we just don't do stuff because it's unknown. It's unsure. It's unproven. And we don't know what's going to come of it. We're not sure of what's going to come of it. And in that, we get super antsy. We don't like it. It scares us. But don't be a coward. Remember that pushing through oftentimes is where the reward really comes. 3, a hasty temper which can be provoked by insults. I like that. A hasty temper which can be provoked by insults. That is actually tough, because I'm not a very temperamental guy. I know a lot of people are pretty level-headed. Some people aren't. But even the most level-headed people can be provoked by insults. If someone's coming at you, someone's got something for you, they're trying to provoke you, a lot of us will succumb to that. But the key is, as a good leader, as a great leader, to be above that, to be above that knee-jerk response. Because that response is just something that happens in nature. It's a part of your programming in your brain. And if you succumb to that, if you just give in to that knee-jerk anger response, you're no better than an animal. Your decision-making goes out the window. Your good judgment out the window. It doesn't matter anymore. Your intelligence out the window. And you make stupid decisions. For a delicacy to honor, which is sensitive to shame. Bam! A delicacy to honor, which is sensitive to shame. This is the career killer right here. This is the thing that keeps you and your dreams miles apart. A delicacy to honor, which is sensitive to shame. People think that they just don't want to be embarrassed. Oh, I'm not a prideful person. I just don't want to be embarrassed. Guess what? You're prideful if you don't want to be embarrassed. You're delicate to honor. You want people to look at you, and maybe if they don't, most people I think would take people looking at them and saying like, oh yeah, he's a good guy, over taking the risk of them looking at you as just what a whack, but maybe doing something great. A lot of people who do great things, at least at some point in their life, are looked at like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? That's so stupid. What a bad choice. And if they were delicate to honor, if they were delicate to that, if they tried to hold their pride up together, they would have never pushed through. They would have never done anything great. Because they would have always just felt ashamed. They would have always just had that weight upon them. And that's the funniest thing, is that a lot of pride often leads to a lot of humility. It like balances itself out by force. So if you don't choose to be humble, you will be humbled. All right? And so don't be delicate to that honor. Don't be delicate to that honor, because then when the humility comes, and it will, it's going to put you down, and it's going to put you down for good. 5, over solitude. I think it's solitude. I don't know. SOLICITUDE. Never seen that word before in my life. For his men, which exposes him to worry and trouble. But that, basically what that means is being too soft. Being too soft with people. Being too soft with your men, which leads you to make bad decisions and get into trouble. And worry about things. Kind of take it back to the worship team experience, because that's my main experience being a leader. I can't tell you how many times there's just one person in the band who is just throwing everything off. They're not playing right. They're not showing up on time. They're not practicing during the week. And everyone else put in their work. Everyone else paid the price to be a good musician and show up on time and do everything right. And they're paying the price for this guy messing up. This guy not trying hard enough. And there's this natural human part of me that says, just let him play, he'll learn, he'll get better, he can start showing up on time, maybe he'll start practicing this week. But then there's the logic side of my brain that says, you've been saying that for months and it hasn't come to happen. Don't be so soft. Don't be so soft. So it's a balance, because you do have to be soft. You gotta treat your people like children, like he says before. But at the same time, you don't want to be too soft with your children. If your children are out of line, you correct them. And if someone on your team is just not showing up, not doing a great job, don't make decisions based on how is this person going to feel? How is this person going to react? Because then that's just a fear that you have. It's not about them even. It's just you being all afraid, being all weird about it. That's not good. It's unhealthy. And the third point kind of piggybacks off those other couple points. He says, if soldiers are punished before they have grown attached to you, they will not prove submissive. And unless submissive, they will be practically useless. If, when the soldiers have become attached to you, punishments are not enforced, they will still be useless. I love that contrast, that balance, right? If you push people before they trust you, if you're in a new band, right, and you're the band leader, and everyone's jamming together and someone's off, someone's not feeling it, and you just, what the hell are you doing? You know, you just get all mad and you get all fired up about them. Sometimes if you're a close band, that's in place. But if you're new and you don't know these people well, then you just look like a psycho. You look crazy. You look mad. You look responsive. You don't look respectable. You don't look smart. You don't look composed. And so when it comes to dealing with people, remember that. First, deal soft, deal kind until they respect you, till they know you. But then once they do know you, don't be a freak pushover. We all know people like that. We all have had teachers, we've all had leaders that at first they were gentle and they were nice with us, and we're like, great, I like this person, I like this teacher, I like this leader. They're smart, they're composed, they're nice to me. And then halfway through the semester, you haven't learned crap in your class. You haven't learned anything. And you know that you can turn in your homework late. You know that you can get things done late. You know that you can screw things up and they're not going to care. You know that you can not show up to class and you'll be okay. Because they've been bumped down to pushover status in your mind. Because you grew to respect them and then they didn't enforce that respect. So, I hope you guys learned something from all this. Again, the 3 points are, first and foremost, regard the people you lead as children. Treat them well. Treat them with respect. Make sure they're people you can respect. Make sure they're people that you can care about. Second, be above reproach by not being reckless, not being a coward, not having a hasty temper, not being delicate to honor. That's the main point. If you take away anything from this video, don't be delicate to honor. Okay? Because that leads to shame, like he says here. Or caring too much about people's feelings, which will make you make stupid decisions. And last but not least, start soft with people. Don't deal with people harshly right away. But then, as time goes by, as they come to respect you, you have to enforce that respect a little bit here and there. Don't overdo it. Don't do it just for the sake of doing it. But if someone's out of line, once they respect you, it's your job to step in as a leader. Hope that's all helpful for you. This is Noah with The Creative Startup. Please click subscribe for more videos. Take care.